Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. We are heading towards 3,000 subscribers. We need your help to get there. As always, it is appreciated. You know, there was a time back when media and members of the media they were not concerned with ratings. There was a time where the media and members of the media, journalists, only cared about what was the legitimate story. They only cared about what was legitimately news. And the reason that it's important is because in those times, they really did service the people. A news entity was not a money-making business. The news entity was set up to be able to give people information, provide people with the information that they did not have, that they were not privy to. They may not have had the end to get to. See, when you turn something into a business, when you figure out that there's a way to make money off something, then automatically your priorities change. Automatically, it ceases to just be about the greater good, and it becomes about the bottom line. And why is that? Because it has to. This isn't me saying, oh, money ruined it. It's not about that. It's about the fact that when you decide that this is going to be a business and not just a labor of love or a labor of service, then you have to move differently. You have to do things that are going to get you money. If you don't do those things, then that's not business. And so there were times where journalists and athletes had real meaningful, open relationships. They would go out to eat and have drinks and talk about their lives. And none of that information would ever spill over into the newspaper because there was no reason to out or to give anybody the personal information about that athlete because it didn't have anything to do with the game. And then business came in. And as business began to boom, as newspapers began to make more and more money, as it became a bottom line industry, as the lines became blurred between what was news and what was tabloid, and now those lines don't even exist anymore. Everything is news. As that happened, the relationships grew further and further away, and the sensationalism grew more and more. That's where we land at when we look at the Los Angeles Lakers. Are the Lakers having a great season this season? No. Are the Lakers like, oh my gosh, doom and gloom? No. The Lakers right now, as we speak today, they take on the Indiana Pacers tonight. They are 22-22. That means in an 82 game season, they still have another 38 games to go. They're probably going to make the playoffs in some capacity as a seed. They've been playing a large majority of this season without Anthony Davis. Now, other people will say, well, they got LeBron and they got Westbrook and blah, 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 blah. People are always looking for people to blame for why something isn't what it is. I'll just say this. The reason that we hear so much about the Lakers is LeBron James. It's because LeBron James moves the needle. How LeBron James moves, that's how the media cycle moves. And anything that can put LeBron James into a story is news because that's what moves the needle. A lot of people out there, I don't care about LeBron James. Yeah, you're lying. Because if you didn't care about LeBron James, people in the media would not cover LeBron James as much because there wouldn't be any money in it. The reason why we see 8 billion stories about the Lakers and LeBron James is because LeBron James moves the needle. And so every single game, we have to have a reaction to what's happened. There has to be something said positively or negatively about the Lakers and about LeBron James based off every single game this man plays. This is not an option. This is what we deal with. You see the same thing, by the way, with the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they deal with the exact same thing because as much as people like to say, oh, well, who cares about Dallas and they're not really America's team, they move the needle. And because media people know that they move the needle, they talk about Dallas. And when they talk about Dallas, ratings go up. When you talk about LeBron James, ratings go up. When you talk about the Lakers, especially the downfall of the Lakers, ratings go up. So we see all of this negative press about the Lakers. Every other day, should they trade Russell Westbrook? Was it a mistake? What is this going to do to LeBron's legacy? How does Magic Johnson and James Worthy feel about what's going on? What was Russell Westbrook's response to Magic and James Worthy? And how should fans feel? And how many games have the Lakers lost since going from Staples Center to crypto? It's nonstop. And it's story after story after story of things that don't really matter. And why? Because it moves the needle. If it didn't move the needle, if nobody cared, then they would not talk about it. If nobody cared, the ratings wouldn't be higher when they talked about it. If nobody cared, nobody would talk about it. These are the ABCs of media today. These are the ABCs of media today. If there's an interview done with XYZ HBCU head football coach, if you look on YouTube at that video and look at the amount of views, I guarantee you it is going to be 5 to 10-fold less than the interview done with Deion Sanders. Why? Because Coach Prime moves the needle. An interview with Coach Prime on your channel can allow you to eat. It can move the needle. And when we're talking about media, it's who's watching, how many people are watching, and how long are they watching. See, that's the biggest thing. It's not just who's watching, how many people are watching. It's how long are they watching. So when we talk about the Lakers if you're a Lakers fan like I am, you have to pump the brakes. You literally cannot listen. You cannot listen on a daily basis to the news cycle because it's going to make you believe that things are worse than they really are. So now we're at a checkpoint. 22-22, not the greatest record, not the worst record. Is it possible for the Lakers to go on a 10-game run? Yeah. We actually see it all the time. Teams go on 5 and 7 and 10-game win streaks. And all of a sudden, the Lakers are 10 games above 500. If we're back here in 3 weeks and the Lakers have gone on a 10-game win streak and they're 32-22, who cares what happened before? Right? The record is all that matters. Because the record decides seeding, which decides matchups, which decides where you're going to be playing, and your chances of advancing in the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no easy rounds in the NBA playoffs anymore. The 1-8 game is not a guaranteed walkover like it used to be. You will have teams, not the very top teams, they don't care. But you'll have teams who pick and choose where they land or try to pick and choose where they land just so they can have a more favorable matchup. That's because there are no easy games, no easy rounds in the playoffs. So if you're a Lakers fan, all you got to do is set your sights on certain marks in the year. Just check in on them. Other than that, enjoy the game. Hey, get mad when they lose, sure. But don't act like the sky is falling. Yes, get mad when they lose, of course. Do I get upset when they lose? Yes. Not as upset as many other people get because I played sports. I know you can't win them all. And I know sometimes things just ain't going to work out. Team chemistry has to come together. Hard to have team chemistry when guys are in and out the lineup or when a guy who's a key instrument within what you're trying to do is out of the lineup for a long period of time. The Lakers are either going to be okay or they're going to be in trouble. It's one of the two. And guess what? If they don't get it done this year, because they're the Lakers, you know they're making changes. Oh, well, the Lakers don't have, it doesn't matter. Oh, the Lakers don't, it does. They're going to make changes. And anytime you have, this is my guy Witt says it, and I agree with him 100%. Anytime you have LeBron James, you got a shot. I don't care how old he is. And that's why he moves the needle. His wife, Savannah James, came out with some pictures looking absolutely stunning, looking like a full course meal, not a snack. Looking like a full 4-course meal, not a snack. And the internet lost its mind. Why? Because she's Savannah James. If she was Savannah whatever, I don't remember her last name before she was married to LeBron, because they've been married forever. But if it was her, she'd still be gorgeous, right? But would we know who she was? No. Most likely not. She's news because she's married to that man. Her greatness has nothing to do with that man. She was great. She was beautiful. All that before LeBron. But we know who she is because her last name is James, and she's married to that man. Is Bronny James a great basketball player? Yes, he's a good basketball player. You could tell he is wise beyond his years on the court. He plays a very headstrong game. He has some really good athleticism. But would we be talking about him if his last name wasn't James? No. That is the magnitude of being LeBron. Everything in your life is news. I think Zuri James has some ridiculous amounts of followers. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, like his daughter, who is a little kid, has a YouTube channel, All Things Zuri, which is 207,000 subscribers. My channel has less than 3,000. Zuri James has 207,000 subscribers, and she only has 11 videos. She only has 11 videos, and there's 207,000 subscribers. What are we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? She don't even do this all the time. It's just a little side piece. That is what LeBron James does. And so the news cycles work with LeBron. They work around LeBron, which means that the Lakers will go up and down because that's what people want to see, because LeBron's involved with it. So relax, Lakers fans. Enjoy the ride, because when he's gone, he's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing Monday through Friday. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. Until next time, peace.